was wondering what kind of response we would get. What a start for Wemby.
Wembanyama is just one big burst here tonight.
Man, what a finish. The defense of the Spurs, they have answered the bell here.
Oklahoma City is absolutely disconnected.
They just punched, and we didn't punch back.
20-0 run for the Spurs.
This is a scary Spurs team.
The Spurs have pulled it off, and there will be a seventh game.
Friday edition of First Take. I'm Joe Fortenbaugh in for Shea. As you can see, Jay Williams is here in studio. Stephen A. Smith, Brian Windhorst here as well. Gentlemen, prepare for battle. The Western Conference Finals going.
Joe Fortenbaugh, good morning. That's right, I'm holding up the damn highlights for the show. You understand? Jay and then me and then Windhorst, forgive me, this is First Take. You're supposed to save me for last. I'm just saying. You may continue.
Did he just check you out of the gate?
Let's try this again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your Friday edition of First Take. My name is Joe Fortenbaugh, joined by Jay Williams and Brian Windhorst. Gentlemen, let's get to business. And Stephen A. Smith as well. All right, prepare for battle. Western Conference Finals going 7 games after the Spurs took down the Thunder 118-91 in Game 6 last night. As is often the case, Victor Wembanyama led the way for San Antonio, setting the tone with 11 first-quarter points and finishing with a game-high 28 to go along with 10 rebounds, while league MVP SGA finished with 15 points. Here's Wemby post-game on how the Spurs were able to respond in Game 6.
I think we were consistent and we did what we needed to do. Trusted the game, trusted the basketball gods. We just got to fight that all the time. And when your back's against the wall, it feels like it's the best opportunity to do that.
A lot of the shots that I'm shooting, I've shot plenty of times before and they feel good. They're just not going in. But yeah, it's too late to abandon my work and abandon my game and who I am. This late in the season, I got to trust it and live or die by it.
San Antonio's 27-point win is the 4th largest by a team facing elimination against the defending champion in NBA history. It was also their largest win in franchise history when facing elimination. So, let's begin the discussion. Stephen A., the response by Wemby in the Spurs, something or nothing?
I'm not going to say it's nothing because they won a pivotal Game 6. They won a brink of elimination. Obviously, you lose the game, you go home. And they responded the way that they were supposed to respond. But in all fairness, they responded the way we anticipated they were going to respond. You know, Wemby came out. He was definitely looking for a shot. He was aggressive. The team followed suit. The supporting cast definitely showed up. They hit about 57% of their threes in the first quarter alone and sent the message that they were here, that they were ready to force a Game 7. And I think putting Oklahoma City on their heels put OKC in a position where it wasn't that much of a priority. The level of urgency that normally would exist in a game of this magnitude, it wasn't there for OKC because since San Antonio came out so strongly, they were of the mindset, look, we got Game 7, which is exactly what I anticipated was going to happen. After Wemby only made 4-15 shots in Game 5, you knew on his home turf in San Antonio, in front of his home crowd, there was no way in hell that he was going to sit idly by and let his season end on his home court in such a demure fashion. He wasn't going to do that. He was going to be aggressive. Stephon Castle lives to be aggressive. And obviously, Dylan Harper came off the bench, and obviously he was very, very formidable as well. Unlike Jay Williams, J-Dub, who only played 10 minutes off the bench, 1 point on 1 shot. You know, I guess they were just out there to see if he could last a few minutes because of that hamstring injury. But nevertheless, they played like a team that knew they had a Game 7 cushion. And you knew that if San Antonio came out early and punched them in the mouth, the level of urgency that normally you would anticipate wasn't going to be there. And that's exactly what happened.
I'm going to say it was something. I mean, wasn't it only last year that San Antonio finished 3rd to last in the Western Conference? I mean, how many years has Wemby been in the league? Has he been in the league 5, 10 years? Has he been in the league 3 years? Dylan Harper, who had 18 points after an injury, is a rookie. You know, you're looking at the way Castle and these guys defend, the level of discipline. Whenever you have a young team, you know, even watching the way Castle took care of the Rock last night, 9 assists, 1 turnover. I mean, these are maturity moments for a team that has not been there before. I understand that the way they play sometimes can give off the impression that they're a very mature team, but they're a team that's learning how to win. Wendy, how many times have we watched teams over and over fall because they're learning how to win? The times the Knicks have gotten bounced early in the playoffs and they keep knocking on the door. This team is so far ahead of schedule that we're taking for granted from what we're watching because we have expectations now. It's like, yeah, they're going to do it. They're a young team. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know how they're going to show up. So for me, I think this was massively something because not only did they defend home court, but now they're going to OKC for a Game 7, which still we don't know how they're going to perform in a Game 7. But if there's a player that you're starting to believe in with the way they start the game and how this game is going to be officiated, if they're able to play with the level of physicality they played with last night, if that's not being called, I think the Spurs have a legitimate chance to win this game in OKC. But I definitely think this is more than just something for a team that was just at the bottom of the Western Conference last year.
Wendy.
Well, you're damn right it was something. Because, Victor says they played consistent. When you say that, it makes you think of like a flat line. They played consistently with their hair on fire. Now, you mentioned, Stephen A., that shooting in the first quarter. They come out, they hit 8 threes in the first quarter. My God. I mean, talk about being hot, okay? But I was watching Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City was weathering the storm. And they're tackling Shea and, they're beating their chest. Oklahoma City was holding it. They were holding the line. And I'm thinking they may be able to weather the storm. But San Antonio never backed down. And when we got into the third quarter and they went on guys, I watched a lot of basketball. I thought I had a feel about how this second half was going to go. I did not see a 20-0 run coming. I mean, they hit him with a 20-0 run. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in that third quarter was in hell. Now, he is definitely having a little bit of a slump, okay? He is not hitting the shots he normally does, but he has been put there by this Spurs defense. He's got Stephon Castle standing in his jersey, and if he can get around him, he's got Victor Wembanyama back there. And he's trying to get fouled because it's his only recourse. He can't beat that impenetrable force without his full course of team, his full course of help with him, with those other ball handlers out. This is an absolute war. Now, the big challenge for them is, can they possibly take any of this energy to Oklahoma City? They have continued to impress me, outplaying their youth and outplaying their experience level. To take that level of passion to Oklahoma City on the road, that would blow me away. But maybe they've got it in them. I don't know.
Game 5 in this series.
Hold on, Joe. First of all, let's understand something. SGA shooting 38% in this series. It's his worst ever in a postseason. He's usually playing a lot better for the reasons that Wendy mentioned, in terms of Staff Castle being all up in them, and then you've got Wembanyama on the back end. But understand, that step back, he said it best. He usually lets that go and he feels it. It's not falling. You understand? He's not a great three-point shooter, but he ain't shooting offers from the three-point lane, but he is in this series. I'm not acting like the defense has had nothing to do with it. Of course, I wouldn't be disrespectful to San Antonio like that. What I'm simply saying is, when I watch SGA, he usually makes the shots that he's missing in this series. I've seen him make plenty of contested shots in his career. Yeah, these shots are contested. There's always somebody there. I got that part. But the point is, he's usually making them. We can use the Wembanyama effect because it's a different ball game. And Jay, you can speak to this better than any of us. The mindset, knowing that there's limitations to what you can do because that 7'5" alien is on the front line waiting to erase anything from 10 feet and in. That's a problem. And because of that, psychologically, it may be having a kind of effect on his game that even he did not realize. I get that part. But in terms of the shots that you actually witness him taking with the eye, in terms of the eye test, I see him getting the shots he normally gets on most occasions. They just ain't falling.
I say, though, I would like to use what you just said against you and something because I know you didn't say it's nothing. But this is why it's something. Doesn't SGA shoot 55% from the field during the regular season? Didn't he
Rest of
shoot
his
40?
career.
No, when I said nothing, Jay, I was talking collectively. I wasn't talking about him.
Okay.
I was talking about the actual loss because they knew they had Game 7 as a cushion back in OKC. I saw them lose by 40 against Minnesota and walk off the court laughing because they knew they were going to get him back the next game, and they did it, even though it was only a 2-point victory before they blew him out by 30 in a closeout Game 5. I'm saying to you, you see that kind of stuff happening. SGA is a different animal. I understand what's going on with him. But I'm saying collectively, as a unit, even though Oklahoma City always plays hard, there still was an absence of that level of urgency you normally see from a team. They knew they weren't the ones on the brink of elimination. They knew they had a Game 7. And I think that they played like a team that knew they had somewhat of a cushion. That's what I'm saying, guys.
I agree. I'm just saying, in Minnesota, when you had J-Dub and A.J. Mitchell who make big shots in clutch moments, it's different to look at that bench and be like, oh, we're going to be okay. Now you're looking at Jared McCain and some other players that are elevated in the scouting report in a Game 7. Gives off a different feel. Not saying it can't be done, just a different feel.
So let's look at it like this then.
Let's see